Good morning. So today I'm going to talk about the fundraising committee, which is the Mercy Malaysia. So have you tried helping a committee where everything feels so right, you kind of falling for the things you have done? Well, what about being attached on helping the fundraising committee? So therefore, in my speech, I would like to explain on 3 ways to make you question yourself on why do you still not joining me to help the Mercy Malaysia. So Mercy Malaysia is a committee which adopts the Total Disaster Risk Management according to my slide, which is the TDRM, and they are also one of the biggest emergency response and one of the fastest committee who provides watch. So I will explain on these 3 points. I will begin my speech by explaining to you what is the TDRM, the Total Disaster Risk Management, and what makes Mercy Malaysia so special about it. So the TDRM represents a paradigm shift from viewing disasters as only the consequences of extreme hazard events to seeing them as being manifestations of unresolved development problems. And TDRM also promotes sustainability by making the assessment and evaluation of risk and the implementation of risk reduction solutions integral parts of the development process. So these are all what the TDRM does according to the Mercy Malaysia. And the TDRM also makes a traditional approach to the natural disaster that happens globally, where the disaster management was mainly based on the premise that disasters are sudden occurrences and man has no role play to it. So throughout this process, the TDRM helps all the survivors globally which has occurred with the natural disasters in many ways. So TDRM doesn't choose any country to help, they just go and help them globally. And then this also means that the TDRM has developed a strategy where it is aimed at minimizing the losses to human lives and property due to disasters. So whenever people occur with natural disasters, many life losses and also many of the properties are being destroyed. So TDRM also help to manage all these things and help the survivors to stay balanced in financially in finance or like providing them a shelter and helping them in so many ways globally. And also this TDRM also adapts a disaster management cycle for years with people support and love. Next, Mercy Malaysia is also one of the biggest and most efficient emergency response event globally, and the time frame for a full recovery under Mercy Malaysia is at long for 2 years. And these are all under their full observation, which means that the Mercy Malaysia doesn't require that particularly long time to recover the survivors. And so, within the first year, rescuing efforts by Mercy Malaysia have come in so many ways, and this recovery phase involved the firefighting, the emergency medical assistance, and also the evacuation plan. Because since Mercy Malaysia doesn't just come from the people in the committee but also the volunteers, so all these things happen to come together. And the phase also involved rehabilitation and reconstruction efforts as well as planning for appropriate land use, industrial habitation and livelihood support. The second phase is where the second year comes. So this phase, it focuses on efforts to prevent or mitigate damage when a disaster strikes. And there would be the construction of dikes, replanting of trees, reforestation and operation of meteorological observation system. And all this will be done by entering the disaster preparedness to help minimize the impact of a disaster. So basically all these cycles only happens within these 2 years, where the first years involve the recovery and the second years involve the rehabilitation of the survivors. And then The preparing is as simple as giving out emergency kits to the survivors and give them. So Mercy Malaysia also provides a lot of and lots of medical kits to the survivors because the people there doesn't have that much sources to provide all this. So Mercy Malaysia also give them out within the 2 years. And also my last point is where the Mercy Malaysia is one of the fastest committee who provide shelter and wash, sanitation and hygiene, which means wash. And Mercy Malaysia begins providing water, sanitation and hygiene in its humanitarian relief operations starting in 2005. And this shows that the quality of this operation is very well done because since 2005 Mercy Malaysia has been providing water and sanitation until the latest one at the end of the 2019. So one of the example where Mercy Malaysia has given out the clean water is when one of the main events where Mercy Malaysia successfully conducted separation was during the 2000 Pahang floods, where Mercy Malaysia has distributed possessions sufficient to treat 1.7 million liters of water to an estimated 8,200 flood affected people in 6 districts. So all this operation has been well done by Mercy Malaysia because of people's support and also the government support by giving them the permissions to help all the people in Pahang affected by the flood. And also a range of safe water provisions researches has been conducted in Asia from 2006 to 2008, and these operations were viewed as one of the best operations throughout 3 consequence years. So this means that Mercy Malaysia also has put records of 3 consequences here of giving a safe and hygienic water to the survivors. So all of these positive things about Mercy Malaysia is what makes me feel like you have to join us on helping us as a fundraising committee to help the others in the futures. And overall, all of these future projects have shown that Mercy Malaysia is an experienced fundraising committee and trusted to be joined and helped. And so I have specified 3 of my main points about Mercy Malaysia, and I hope that you will think about helping us in the future and also help us providing more supports and more help to the survivors globally. That's all from me. Thank you.